Dear students, today we are going to see Unit 9, Per Capita Income, and the impact of per capita income in the business decision making. So what is in this unit, we are going to see what are the various contents: per capita income, GDP and per capita income, and then how to calculate the per capita income, what are the income effect. If the person earning more, what is the effect? If the person earning less, what may be the effect? So these are the things, the major things we are going to look into this unit. Per capita income is a measure of the amount of money earned per person in a nation or geographic region. So per capita income is used to determine the average per person income for a particular area and to measure the standard of living and quality of life of the population. It is a definition given. Let me explain this concept with an example. In a family, four people are living: father, mother, two sons. Father earning 50,000 rupees, mother earning 30,000 rupees. So, how much I told you? Father earning 50,000, mother earning 30,000, so it got 80,000. Now, these two children, they were earning some 20,000. 20,000 they are earning. So totally 1,20,000 rupees. So the total income of the family is 1,20,000. Okay. Now divide it by 4. 4 people earning and average. What is the average? So 1,20,000 divided by 4. So then how much it will be? 30,000. So 30,000. So one person average income of the family is 30,000. In a family, when we calculate for one person, that is 30,000. Okay. The same thing when we are going for the nation, if it is in the national, then what is the total income of the nation? What is the total income of the nation? That is total income divided by the total population. So that is the formula given in the slide. Total income of the area divided by total population. So in our country, then total income of the particular country divided by population. So how we can, so we have to calculate the what are the goods and services produced during the particular year, then divided by the total population. So that gives the per capita income. So income effect on business. What is this income effect on business? Income effect. The person averagely, I told you in the example, that each member earning 30,000 rupees. In case, if the same family, each one person income, if it comes for 1 lakh rupees, assume that 1 lakh rupees, then definitely they will spend more money. They'll go just like that, they'll go trip, just like that, they'll purchase a food and eat. And they'll go, even they spend more money for their dresses. So, when now it is a very, very basic concept. When the income goes up, then automatically the expenses also according to that. So the effect of income earning by person will lead to positive or negative consequences on a small business. Income earning. When income is more, then automatically the business earning, that is according to that. When I'm having more money, I'll go and I'll purchase biscuits, this, that, I'll purchase. When I'm not having any money, then I don't see here, there, just like that I will walk on. Okay. In case if I'm having, so immediately I will think, why can't I take one juice? Why can't I take one small thing? I will eat. Like that only I will think. So why don't I purchase this particular dress? So I will select the shop also, costly shop. There I will go. So my luxurious things and my comfortability I like to increase only. So only very, very rare people, though they have the money, they don't spend. So that percentage of people are very less only. But normally, when there is an income, then people at least they spend for their essential things. But when there is no money, when there is no income, then automatically their spending also will be reduced. An increase in income results in a demand for more services and goods. More services, that is, an increase in income results in a demand for more services. So like to get services. Though he able to drive, he will keep on driver for driving his vehicle. A decrease in income results either to forego or postpone the needs. So income got decreased. So what he will do? Either he will postpone the need or he will forego the need. Better I don't want. I don't want any new watch. I whatever the watch I have, with that it survive. I will manage with the amount whatever I have. I don't want to purchase anything new. I will think in that way only. In general, when incomes are lower, less spending occurs and business are hurt by the effect. So when in the particular area, suppose for an example, the rural area, in the rural area all are working for wage. Every weekend only, on Saturday only they will be getting the salary. So Saturday they will get the salary and they will go spend the money for purchase of essential things, all those things are there. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, no that much sales in the shops, because the money, availability of the money with them will get considerably reduced. So they don't spend. The business automatically it will get decreased. In case if the sellers are selling the perishable products, in case if they are selling the perishable product, then automatically the sales, they will be getting the loss only, because they cannot retain the product also till Saturday. So what they will do, they will increase the sales only on Saturday, and other days they don't that much sell. So this give a major effects to the business persons. The income effect is a component of microeconomics. It is a microeconomics. This concept is a microeconomics because the reason is there. It is one person, one businessman, one particular community, one area. Then microeconomics will come into the fact. If it is the total, all the business, entire national, all the people, then it goes for microeconomics. This we have discussed already in the units. Now, so per capita, the same thing. The per capita income is calculated to find out per capita income for a nation, the country's national income calculated by dividing the country's national income by its population. Okay, same thing. Now, next, GDP per capita and income per capita. So, GDP per capita is nothing but GDP per person, gross domestic product earned. What is gross domestic product? It is the total services, total goods and services produced by the nation for the particular duration, for the particular year. Normally, they will be calculating this GDP for 1 year, for 12 months period only. The country's GDP divided by total population. So total GDP per capita means what is the total GDP by the country, and that is divided by the total population. The GDP is divided by the total number of workers. The GDP per capita very closely reflects the average revenue per person. Average revenue per person in the economy. Yes. As GDP grows, it is assumed that everyone in the chain will get benefit. Yes. And the growth will have a trickle down effect in the population, thus improving standard of living. So what we think, what the country thinks, when the GDP increases, per capita income will get increased. When per capita income gets increased, then automatically it increases the standard of living of the then uses of per capita income. Why should we calculate the per capita income? What is the use of per capita income? To find out an area's wealth or lack of wealth. So wealth and lack of wealth. Whether wealth is there, money is there, or no money is. What is both the end? To find out the affordability of a particular product in particular area. Affordability means ability to purchase. That is the meaning for affordability. So, in the particular product, particular area, in the township areas, in the town area, suppose in the Chennai metropolitan city, there we can see many car showrooms, Benz, Audi car. We can see even costly cars, luxurious cars, showrooms. More number of showrooms we can see. Vehicles, very costly shops are available here. Okay. In case a rural or apart from that urban area, not even that one, little, some 50 kilometers away, separated. There, when we are seeing whether any car showroom is there, rural area, no car showrooms will be there. No two-wheeler showrooms will be there. Why? What is the reason? There, the people are not afford to purchase such a product. They don't have money. They cannot purchase for 5 lakhs rupees, 6 lakhs rupees worth about the car also. They cannot, because they cannot afford everyday wage. They are working for a day by day wage, and for very meager amount they are earning. With that, they like to survive their life and not for purchasing such luxurious things. Okay, this is the situation. A businessman who is keeping such a very big showroom in the rural area, who will buy? Nobody will buy. Waste of. So, it is an example what I told you now. So, the businessman, when he starts selling, or when he introduces the product, or when he keeps a showroom, whatever it is, before to that, he must have a clear idea about whether that is the place for the product, whether the targeted consumers are available in the particular area or not. How can he decide that? How can he decide that? So for the first two units, second unit and all, we have seen all that socio-cultural, all those things we have seen. Okay. So the introductions of the social, all those things we have seen. Now this is economic environment. Economically, whether the people are viable to purchase, these things to be decided, to be taken care before the person starts the business. It is used to fix prices of products, real estate prices of homes. So per capita income is used to fix up the prices of the product. In that area, all are much wealthy people. Keep the tender coconut, same example I am saying. The rate of the tender coconut is 40 rupees. Okay. Same tender coconut in the rural area, there are so much of coconut trees are already there. 10 rupees people won't purchase because all are having in their place itself. Flowers in the city area, costly. Okay. Neem trees, neem leaves, there's mango leaves, mango tree leaves. Mango tree leaves and all, in the Hindu, there is a culture. And for any puja and all, they used to have this mango tree leaves for the puja purpose. In the urban area, city area, the mango trees are not that much available. So in the shop only people will purchase for 10 rupees, 20 rupees they will purchase. Neem leaves they will purchase, and this mango tree leaves also they will purchase. But in the rural area, these things are available as it is in each and every home it is available. So who will buy? It is already available. Plenty it is available. So when there is the same product, this is totally a free of cost product. Just like that the trees are there. But the same product in the city purchasing by 10 rupees, 20 rupees, 20 rupees we are paying and we are purchasing. But in the rural area, no need for that. So whatever may be the business or whether it is a small thing or the bigger one, the businessman must have the idea or must have a very clear analysis to start the business before he do that. For a business person to open a store in a particular area, yes. Limitations of per capita income. So what are the various limitations? Though per capita income has many advantages, it has some. We each and everything, there is a pros, there is a cons. There is advantage, there is a disadvantage. So the per capita income not says the standard of living of the person. Per capita income is calculated by dividing total income by population. Yes. Hence, it does not give an accurate value of standard of living. Because the reason is given because why? Because of total value divided by total population. In that, so many are not working. So many are not working. Children are there. Children, they are not working. Aged people. But they are also coming under this calculation only. So we cannot come to the conclusion by seeing the per capita. Per capita income does not reflect inflation in an economy, which is the rate at which prices rise over time. That means per capita income is average income. With that, we can't say that the economy is increasing or inflation rate is increasing. We cannot come to that conclusion. International comparisons. The cost of living differences can be inaccurate. So cost of living is in that, suppose that's what I told you. In the city, 4 persons are living in the family in the city and 40 rupees one tender coconut. 40 into 4, 160 rupees. Every day they cannot spend. They cannot avail. So they are foregoing or only one they are purchasing, giving to the small child or giving to the elder person. Okay. But the same thing in case we measure this particular thing is the measure. In the rural area, it is just like that available all the coconut trees and for the free of cost, everybody will take 2 to 3. And what is the standard of living there? So the cost of living cannot, that is the amount what they are purchasing for the products. Okay, that cannot be, that accurately we cannot measure. That is the thing here. Accurately it is not possible. Critics of per capita income suggest that adjusting for purchasing power parity is more accurate, whereby purchasing power parity helps to nullify the exchange rate differences between the country. So this says what? Also, other economies use bartering and other non-monetary activity, which is not considered in calculating the per capita income. Only the goods and services are calculated in the GDP. The quality of work, the exchanges, all those things are not coming under this area. Then, this purchasing power parity means what now? That purchasing power, I have 10,000 rupees in my hand. So I have the purchasing power of worth about 10,000 product with just 10,000 rupees. Correct. So purchasing power means the amount what I possess for purchasing the product. So that is called purchasing power. So we cannot accurately say this much person, he is having this much, I am earning 20,000, I am having 10,000 only for purchasing, I am keeping 25,000 only for purchasing, and this purchasing for all this product. So I cannot come to the conclusion. Nobody will say that exactly this is the purchasing power. This much only the person will buy. This is the standard of living exactly. So like that, we cannot come to the conclusion. Next, savings and wealth. So, per capita income does not say about what is the previous wealth, previous earning, our property, all those incomes are not calculated. Suppose I told you one example, 1,20,000 is income, but the same family is getting 1 lakh rupees as rent. They are getting rental in 1 lakh rupees. So now 2,20,000. Now suddenly it just jumps from 30,000 to 55. It is there. So the other earnings or other wealth are not calculated. Suppose I am living in my father's property. What is the rent payable to that property? If it is not owned by my father, then not calculated. So that's the point here mentioned. Savings and wealth. Per capita income not includes his own savings and income from properties. As per the calculation, a person may have less per capita income. A person is having less per capita income, but he may lead a very good standard of life because he is having already in the rural areas and all. We can see this thing very clearly because they may have already the house, they will have farms, they will have, and their income may be only 5,000 or 10,000 only their income, and all the vegetables, fruits, greens, everything they will be sowing in their how in the small border itself they will be planting. So with that, they will be taking most of the consumption they will take uh, from their garden itself. Then the rice, dal also they are cultivating. With that, they will take. So maximum of the consumption they don't have this, that, and all. Okay, the other shops also they won't have much, but they eat very nicely. Flowers, all those things are maybe with an over cultivation. So they may having the cattle, cows will be there, milk they will take, with that all they will take curd, ghee, everything they will be taking. But their income from there outside they are taking only 5,000 or 10,000 only. That will be so maximum for them. They live a very good standard only because they eat everything. They are sophisticated life. So we cannot say according to that income level only the standard will be there. So that's a point given mentioned here. Then the children are not added in the per capita calculation. Children are not working. Suppose the particular country is 100, the example 100 divided by 100. In that 100, 25 are children then. So children won't earn, no? So these are some of the advantages. Then economic welfare. The welfare of the people is not necessarily taken with per capita in the welfare. For example, the quality of work conditions, the number of hours worked, in the GDP itself, it is not calculated. Only what is the production only calculated, but what is the uh, quality of work, that is not calculated. Okay. Now, income effect and price effect. So what is the income effect and price effect? Income effect estimates consumer spending habits based on a change in a consumer's income. Spending habit will increase. How? When we get more income, more spending will be. Price effect, on the other hand, seeks to evaluate consumer spending habits based on a change in the price of a good or service. So price effect, on the other hand, seeks to evaluate customer spending habits. Once, suppose I'm giving an example. Apples are there. Everyone, okay, everyone like to eat apple. One apple one day, then we need not go to doctor. Okay, so apple a day, one apple a day, and keep the doctor away. So that is a saying. Okay, the kg, 1 kg, now it is 300 rupees. Now the market rate is 300. The person who is going for the consumer asking the price 300. Okay. So what is the less rate fruit? We'll purchase orange is less for 60, 70 rupees only. Okay, we'll buy. After some 4-5 months, again, the rate of the apples will decrease to 100 rupees, 80 rupees. That time what he will do? He will purchase 1 kg, 2 kg. So the same person, depending upon the rate, the price of the product, his consumption, he will increase because it is less cost now. Better we will purchase now and we will take. So like that, the person's, that the idea is getting differed according to the price of the particular. When income of the community increases, it leads automatically increase in business transaction. The community itself got improved, then automatically the business also getting. Previously certain areas, so only 1-2 shops we could see. But after so many persons, so many houses came, so many people migrated, then there it was only 2 shops, now maybe 20 shops. All the 20 shops people are crowded. That is also there. If the product is very essential, the income will not have any effect on its demand. Very essential product, ma. Very essential product. Suppose rice. Rice is there. 50 rupees kg, 60 rupees kg, 100 rupees kg also per person will have to buy and eat only, na? So very essential product rates, it is called inelastic demand. The elasticity of demand means it has the elasticity of, according to the price, the demand will vary. But whatever may be the price, the elastic, no, it won't, it is static. It won't move. It's inelastic. So the essential product prices, whatever it may be, the consumer will buy only. Next. The relationship between income effect and the demand is always analyzed by keeping the nature of product. So income effect and demand according to the nature of the product only. So today itself we have to purchase this apple, no, not needed. Okay, after 3 months it will automatically, the prices will get reduced. Okay, we can eat that. So instead of keeping a 2 tomato, better one we will keep, because the rate is 150 rupees per kg. let it come to 20 rupees, 30 rupees. That time we can add more. So the mindset of the persons, according to the price difference, they will change it. When income rises, the demand for the normal goods will get increased. Normal goods, the dresses, this consumption, what I told you, na, the fruits, vegetables, then automatically it will get increased. Suppose 1 carrot 21 kg of carrot is 20 rupees, all will purchase 1 kg. Same 1 carrot, 1 kg of carrot is 200 rupees. Then purchasing that thing will get reduced. Whereas the demand for the inferior goods will decrease when the income increases and vice versa. The inferior goods, what is the inferior goods? So one is costlier goods and the another is the inferior. So normally in the economics, they'll give an example of the sugar and jaggery. The sugar rate is increased, so people will purchase jaggery and they'll eat. When the sugar rate, that is when the demand for the inferior goods decreased, when income increases, why should they go for inferior goods? They will purchase good product. They will eat good product. So with this, we'll end up this unit. Go through all the lecture notes given and try to attend the assessment questions. You will be asked the examination. What is per capita income? What are the major advantages and disadvantages of the per capita income? What is GDP per capita income? What is the income effect on the purchase? So like that type of questions can be asked in the examination. So thank you. So go through the notes. Thank you, students.